Hi, and welcome back to My Nana's Apron. It's been a long time since I saw you. I had some health problems. I had a pinched nerve in my back, which resulted on that nerve going down through my hip and leg, which is called sciatic nerve. And I couldn't walk. I could barely move. So it went away. I'm still having a little bit of problems with my back, standing too long, etc. But what do you want? I'm 70 years old. Okay, today we're going to make some tomato cream soup and cream of tomato soup, gluten-free, dairy-free, and as you know, you can go to the store and usually get gluten-free tomato soup. Pacific something, or, they got all kinds, but it's kind of hard to find dairy-free. And I have recipes that I need to make that call for a can of condensed tomato soup, the Campbell's thing. And of course we can't eat that because it's got wheat and dairy in it. So this is a way of making my own for the recipes that I have that I need to make, completely freezable. And I'm going to show you how it's done over at the stove, and I'll be back. Okay, first of all, this is a simple soup. There's no cut up onions, nothing to chop. Simple, simple, simple. First of all, I've got a 28-ounce can of tomato puree. Now you can use crushed tomatoes if you want. The reasoning behind this soup is to not have chunks in it. And you'd have to get out the food processor or the blender or the handheld blender. And I don't want any more work than I have to today. 6-ounce can of tomato paste, which will scrape in there. This gives it a rich tomatoey flavor, sort of like when your Italian grandma makes spaghetti sauce. Or maybe not, I don't know. I haven't done a real Italian spaghetti sauce yet, but bet you I will. I'll cut it out. Okay, and then you stir everything together. I'm going to start heating this up a little bit so it'll make it a little bit more pliable. So I'm going to put it on medium and make sure I get this all stirred up, because that tomato paste has a little bit of thickness to it that I want to make sure I get it all stirred together. Okay, now I have to pour in chicken broth. Now you can use vegetable broth, mushroom broth, any kind of broth you want to make vegetarian if you want. This I had left over from my homemade that I made. And stir that together. This will make that tomato paste less chunky, because it's got to melt a little bit. Okay, I'm going to let this cook for until it warms up, and then I'll be back. Okay, it's just starting to come up to a boil. I don't even need to go that far. I just wanted to warm it up to loosen it up a little bit. And turn this down to low, high-low, whatever you call that. Okay, here I have a tablespoon of onion powder, tablespoon of garlic powder, and 2 teaspoons of black pepper, which you can omit that if you don't like black pepper. And I'm going to stir that in. This is also a fast soup if you're stuck in the house and you can't get to the store. Maybe you have these things in your pantry or on your shelf. And you could even use other tomato products if you wanted to. Okay, now we need to add the flour and the milk. Okay, this is gluten-free flour. I've got about 4 tablespoons in here, and I've got a cup of milk. And this is any kind of milk you want. Heavy cream is out of our digestive system. So you can use almond milk, soy milk, etc. Today I'm using coconut milk because I have them on my shelf and I need to get rid of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bigger measuring cup and then I'm going to add the flour to it. And then the milk. It's kind of chunky today because it's cold and rainy outside. If it was warmer in the house, it wouldn't be so chunky. But that'll melt. It'll melt in the heat. Get it stirred up real good. As you notice, I haven't put any salt in here yet. Now the reason behind that is my chicken broth has salt in it. And I don't want to go too high on the salt content. Just enough to give it some flavor. We don't want bland soup. Okay. Now this we will want to bring to a boil because we're going to need to cook it about 6 to 10 minutes. So let me stir it in and bring it to a boil and I'll show you what we got in a few minutes. Okay, as you can see, it's starting to come up to a boil. And I don't really want to boil it because as you can see, it's going to bubble all over the place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a lid on it and turn it down to low. On my stove, if I put it on one or two, I think one, it'll still come up to a boil. It'll come to a slow boil, and I'm going to cook it 6 to 10 minutes right now. And I'm going to taste it because remember, I haven't put any salt in it. So there's another addition of some sugar if I need it, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, let's see what we have. It's bubbling nice and slow. It's been 8 minutes. Now, let me taste it. That's pretty good that it doesn't have any herbs or anything like that in it. Now, it does have a little bit of a tomatoey taste, which I'm going to tame down. This is a trick for your spaghetti sauces too. This is about, I'm going to put about a tablespoon of brown sugar in there, or white sugar, or sweetener, or whatever you want to use. And then I'm going to taste it again after I get it stirred in. You notice how thick it is? If you didn't want it this thick, add some more milk, add some water. If you have the chicken broth, add that. Just to thin it out a little bit. But remember, this is supposed to be like the tomato soup you would have gotten in a Campbell's tomato soup can. And here, another tip too, is if you don't have any tomato soup cans on your shelf, you might have this other stuff and then you can make your kids tomato soup. And I used to love grilled cheese. I'm just going to use crackers today. So let me taste it again. I don't think it needs any salt. It does need more brown sugar. Let me get this stirred in, taste it again, and I'll let you know how much I put in here. Okay, as you saw on the stove when I mixed everything together, I went with the brown sugar at the end, and I told you I would let you know how much I put in. Now I actually went 3 tablespoons, and I was getting a little bit upset because I was tasting too much tomatoey. I let my husband taste it. He said it tasted fine, so I quit at 3 tablespoons. And I have to say my tomato buds, my taste buds have been off this week. So It's really thick. If you want thinner, add more milk, as I said, water, anything. And like I said, completely freezable. You just don't want to do the flour and milk until you bring it out of the freezer without that in it. Milks don't freeze out well. So put it in portions, put it in your freezer. I would do a can ounces for your recipes. And I'm going to put it in this bowl. And it looks like a tomato sauce that you would put like a marinara on spaghetti. You probably could just add some Italian seasonings to it and let it sit and come together. It's rainy out. It's a cold day. I'm back to making soups. And I'm just going to add some crackers to it. These are saltine crackers from Char. And make a little face. And hope you enjoyed this recipe. Well, as I said, welcome back. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Tell your friends about the alternative eating if they have any allergies or dietary needs. I've only gone so far as the gluten-free, dairy-free. I haven't gone the soy-free. I haven't got that far. So I'll see you next time. Join me. I don't know what I'm going to make yet. I'll talk to you later. Bye.